then get a different face. And posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at iWitnessBullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. So we were trying to slow Tomas's roll because he had moved on from this is what it is to everybody needs to be individually accountable.
Come to Tomaja, everyone. Come to Tomaja.
Yes, everybody does need to be individually accountable. I agree. And I do think it is more complicated than that. And I want to be clear, like I am not one at all that is deluded about systems of oppression, how they function. And I'm not anywhere at all trying to make excuses for people's behavior, because at the end of the day, having negative racial implicit bias has real implications for people's lives. So we talked a little bit about Starbucks. I call her Starbucks Susie because everybody else, like after her, got a real cute hashtag, and she didn't get one. So I'm gonna call her Starbucks Susie. And then we had Barbecue Becky, who was a white woman in Oakland who called police on black people that were having a little barbecue gathering in a public park. And then we had the sister that got the police called on her because she was napping in the graduate student lounge at Yale. Then we had Permit Patty, who called the police on an 8-year-old girl selling water in her San Francisco neighborhood.
That's illegal.
Though she later claimed that she just was pretending to call the police, which I think
and then I listened to the 911 call online because it's on YouTube. Remember, when you call 911, they are always recorded and they are public record. So, okay, Permit Patty, boo-boo. I see you.
So, but I think it's interesting that she thought she could use the excuse that she was just pretending, as if that subverts the power that having the police called on you has. Like, so that means she, on some awareness, has on some level of awareness, has an understanding that there are really significant negative implications for having the police called on some black people.
Right.
But so she tried to kind of sugarcoat it and downplay it, minimize it by saying, I was just pretending.
Let's ask ourselves a question, though. First of all, you a grown woman calling the cops on a child about selling water, when
just
first of all,
she's
you should
chronologically older than that little girl, doesn't necessarily make her grown.
You should be calling on your government to ask, why do you have to pay for water? That's the questions you should be asking. What are your tax dollars doing that I gotta pay for water in the streets?
That's the deeper conversation.
That's the deeper question.
And then we had some other incidents where this young black boy was cutting someone's yard in Ohio, and he, 12 years old, not manual, but like one of those push mowers. And I guess he, like, part of it, he went over into the neighbor's yard, and the neighbor called the police talking about he's cutting my grass. Why are you mad that somebody's cutting your grass for free?
It's an assault on her lawn. It's an assault.
So many things. The firefighter got the police called on him for inspecting houses.
That's right. He shouldn't be looking at houses.
Don't avert your gaze, Negro. It just incident after incident. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. There's just been this complete rash of incidents. And in the beauty of smartphones and social media, they have all been taped and all been uploaded. And the behavior is there in full color, HD, pixelated, with full Dolby surround sound. Like, it's there and it's unavoidable. And all of that is problematic. Like, on a day in, day out, experience of being able to be a Black person to just walk out of your house to live your life in a supposedly free country, hearing about those incidents or experiencing those, it has negative psychological impacts on you. I talked, I think, here on the podcast before about having taken a vacation with my daughter earlier this summer. And as is per usual, I most, if not all Black folks that I know do this thing where when we're in a new environment, we kind of automatically scan to see if there are any other people of color. First, we scan to see any other Black people, and then we do another pass to see if it's any other people of color, like people like Black adjacent, anybody that might kind of be on the quote unquote minority spectrum. And then we want to like quantify those people. And so we were out first day of vacation. We get to this resort. It's in a far northern suburb of Houston, which in and of itself is predominantly white. And the resort, was at that time when we got there that afternoon, we get in, we check in, whatever. And we go by the pool because my daughter is a human mermaid. And I did a scan and we were the only Black family around. And so now I have to automatically go into, okay, we got to be on full alert mode. I'm on full alert mode, right? Because anything can happen out here in these 2018 racism
Excuse
streets.
me, officer, there's a Black woman in the pool with a very light-skinned young girl. I'm not sure that that's her daughter. I think that the child may be kidnapped.
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, my daughter is light-skinned. She's biracial. Her father is Mexican-American. And so she is light-skinned. Now, if anybody takes the time to move outside of their implicit associations to actually look at her facial features, she looks like a light-skinned mini me.
Absolutely.
So it's clear.
She got those high cheekbones because you got Indian in your family. I know you got that Indian in your family. You got them good cheekbones.
She is my mini me, and more than that, like she is a mama's girl, so she's like always up under me. So that wouldn't be. So if you could step outside of your stereotype, right? Step outside of your bias, it would be easy. But the problem is,
but thank you for saying that. If you could step outside of your bias,
yes,
and
I'm
if you
not
could step
arguing
outside of
that
your
part.
Okay, all right.
No.
Okay.
I'm not arguing that part.
Right.
What I'm arguing,
I'm going back down.
Calm down. And I'm not even arguing. What I'm saying is the other part of the conversation has to be a recognition that the way power structures are set up around race and privilege is that there is little to no motivation for white folks to step outside of their automatic assumptions. There's nothing that happens to automatically reinforce them to do that.
I thought that was the purpose of Christianity.
Because Jesus don't want them to feel threatened by Negroes. You see how that works?
Oh, I keep forgetting that you could take and flip Jesus however you want to flip.
However you want to use Jesus.
That's right.
Jesus is a tool for you. So
I'm gonna use Jesus to monetize this podcast.
You probably could, because we all know folks in the pulpit been doing that.
Give it to the glory.
Decade. We digress again. But it's the reason why these people feel fully empowered to pick up the phone and call the police. Because what does it also say about what role police serve and function in our society? Are they strictly there to police criminals and to limit criminal behavior, or are they put in place to control? Are they put in place to be an extension of authority? Mm-hmm. Right. And so that is why white people aren't calling phoning a friend to say, can you come help me get these people off my property? They don't have the audacity to actually talk to the people they're calling the police on and engage them as a fellow human being. No, they automatically call on speed dial, probably their extension of authority. It's that's what police serve as a function. They are to be used as tools to continue to reinforce systems of oppression and privilege. And they have been on it in 2018. all of that is problematic, and it's ugly, and it is insidious, and it does weigh down on individuals. It certainly has been more present in my conscious thinking when I do leave the house with my daughter, because her safety and well-being is always my utmost concern. And I also know that means I have to sometimes manage my behavior in a way that might not feel automatically comfortable for me, but in a way that will keep her safe. So as an example, it's been a couple years now. We were in a major shopping mall here in Houston called the Galleria. Now, the Galleria is an interesting location in that it is located in a predominantly white, wealthy area of town. It's called the Galleria area. It's a high tourist area. And the mall in and of itself has everything from Saks to the Gap. I think there might even be used to be even a Payless, which was weird, right? There's a skating rink in there. There's high-end restaurants. Like there's some chain restaurants, but there's some higher-end restaurants in there. There's a couple high-end jewelry retailers. There's Michael Kors. So it's this really interesting blend of high-end shopping and also like regular mall shopping. So it has a mix of folks across the racial spectrum, across the like native to Houston, but also tourist spectrum, across the class spectrum. I don't typically go to the Galleria. I would rather avoid it as much as possible. One, I just really don't like malls like that. Two, it's always super busy because it is such an attraction. So we were in the Galleria because somebody had invited us to brunch, and we went. I had my daughter with me, and we were in the parking structure, which was crowded at the time, trying to find parking to go to the brunch. And in the parking structure is one of those things where the ramps were on a high incline, and so but we were waiting. It was like bumper to bumper, so we're sitting on the incline, waiting to kind of pull up and go so we can go to the next level and look for parking. I have an automatic, and when I took my foot off of the brake, my car rolled back a little bit before it rolled forward. And so that meant I tapped. And when I say tapped, I mean like tapped, because I immediately put my foot on the gas, tapped my back bumper tapped the front bumper of a white woman's Mercedes truck. And Officer. So you know what happens. You already can read the story. The police weren't involved this time, but maybe if this had happened in 2018, they may have been. But what happened was she started immediately blowing her horn and yelling. So I parked my car, and my daughter was in the back seat in her car seat, and the woman jumped out of her car, and she stood in front of my car with both arms waving, yelling, help me. Did everybody see that? Please, I need some help. Can somebody call somebody to help me, please? And I literally was in my car looking around like, is she talking about me? Like, am I the person she needs help from? And so I said something to her. Now, I've remained in my car at this point because in my mind, I think, A, I'm not leaving my child alone in the car. B, I think this woman is kind of crazy, and I don't know what she might do. And C, if there is a witness, I want them to be able to clearly say I remained in my vehicle. So I rolled my window down. No, what I think I did was I opened my car door and kind of leaned my head out, and I said, if you would just give me a minute, can we get out and assess the damage? And she was like, did you see her? She hit my car. And then she looks at me, she's like, why are you yelling at me? Why are you being so aggressive? And I was like, I'm not yelling. You're the only one yelling. And all I want to do is assess if there's any damage. Can we do that? So she's like, don't let her move. Don't let her move. Are you taping this? So finally, interestingly enough, so now we have a whole line of cars that are behind us, right? And people are like, what is happening? We're all trying to live our lives. And interesting enough, two men came up, and they were two black men. And immediately when they came up, I thought, well, let's see how this goes. And like they both looked at her car and they looked at my car and they were like, what is the problem? And I said, I'm not sure. She's been yelling at me. I haven't even looked at the cars. And they were like, there's nothing wrong with either of your cars. Can we just move it along? And so